Alien abduction victim explains missing time phenomenon and ET implants. A man who was abducted by aliens and now has a metal implant in his leg explains what really happens when you experience the missing time phenomenon. This is my story. I feel compelled to share this with people of like-minded, similar interests. I've been doing this for 15 years and I honestly feel driven towards this field for some reason. This was Alien. UFO investigator Chris Augustine's opening statement at a UFO conference this January. A firm believer in aliens and their presence here on Earth, Augustine holds a computer science degree and is the host of the Philadelphia UFO Meetup group. His first encounter took place in Washington, NJ in 1999, when he saw a UFO similar to the one responsible for the Belgian UFO wave. Triangular in shape and completely silent, the UFO that Chris saw had a weird quirk. It flew backwards. Chris says the object did not make any sound, but it did emit a hum that was more felt than heard. I witnessed a large, black, triangular craft moving over Washington Township, New Jersey, and the odd thing about it was the way that it was traveling. It wasn't traveling with the point in the front. It was traveling with the flat edge in the front. Also, the UFO researcher recalls that nature had apparently come to a standstill, with no insects or birds making any noise while the triangular UFO flew above. This incident led Augustine on a road to discovery that would place him in an even more controversial position, that of a UFO abductee. In February of 2002, Chris was driving home from his girlfriend's house at around 10 p.m. He had just stopped at a traffic light and was looking in his rear view mirror at a pickup truck. The Queen of the Damned soundtrack was playing and song number 10 had just started. Next thing he knows, Chris was in the middle of the intersection. The 3-minute 40 seconds long song had just ended and the truck was several hundred feet in front of him. Weird, right? Amid the whirlwind of sentiment of concern, Augustine recalls feeling uneasy, anxious, and scared. He felt as though he had just jumped through time, which is what most abductees report. 3 minutes and 40 seconds took place inside my car. I felt like I'd come aware from something, like a daze. My hands are on the wheel, executing a turn, and then 3.5 minutes are gone. I wasn't afraid of what I didn't understand. Augustine raced home to write down all the details he could remember and thus began a lengthy effort to document and study his own experience while keeping an eye out for similar incidents. Shortly after going through the missing time episode, Augustine noticed his body was doing strange things, such as interfering with TVs and other appliances. Whatever used electricity seems to be affected in one way or another by Chris' presence. His psychic abilities also seem to have been impacted by the abduction. He would know who was about to call him and what song would come up on the radio before it happened. When Augustine's dreams became premonitions, he became convinced some serious work had been done on his body and mind. A couple of months later, Chris started hearing a ringing noise in his left ear. After several nights of listening to audio interference and finding spots of blood on his bed covers without being really injured, he noticed a triangle-shaped bruise above his ankle. Below the skin was a small, solid object. The weird thing was that unlike a bruise, this skin lesion was gone in a day, leaving 4 puncture marks in its place. An ultrasound scan revealed Augustine had sustained tendon damage and there was a foreign body in his leg. Fast forward a few more years and Chris starts having weird memories resurface. I felt I was somewhere else. The place was metallic. I could sense a woman with me, to my right. I could hear small feet hitting the floor, like walking quickly. I could tell by the stride they were small, since there were a lot of steps. As weird as his recollection of the events might be, Chris is just one of many who claim to have been abducted. Ufologist Nigel Watson explains, abductions often start in childhood, continue throughout a person's life, and are not just isolated incidents. Abductees regularly find mysterious scars on their body. They are often confused and worried by dreams or nightmares that they have had since childhood. Under hypnosis, they remember being inside a flying saucer. As might be expected, such ideas have attracted the attention of both skeptics and believers. Skeptics regard the abduction researchers and abductees as gullible fools who do not know the difference between fact and fantasy. The believers regard the abductees as tortured victims who need understanding and help after the trauma of alien encounters. Take a look at the video below and decide for yourself whether Chris Augustine is a gullible fool or a victim. The link to the video is in our description. Reports on aliens and UFOs and strange things around the world from Ufaholic.